Hi, if you're new here, my name is Libby and I like all things books. I love reading and I wanted to share my love of reading with you guys. I recently did a weekend reading vlog and I thought I would do a week reading vlog. I wasn't really planning to do this, but I've been reading A Court of Mist and Fury and I'm loving it so much that I want to share the process of me reading it. So I thought I would do a weekly reading vlog. I am currently on page 116 and when I tell you that every time Rysand comes into the picture, I do a happy squeal and kick my feet in excitement. I am so excited to see where Feyre and Rysand's relationship goes. I prefer them so much more to Tamlin and Feyre. Tamlin is really getting on my nerves. I'm finding him really annoying and it's so frustrating because I liked him in the first book, but in this one I'm just finding him really annoying. I am going to continue to read this today and see how I go. In my weekend reading vlog, I had also started Tender as the Flesh and I've almost finished this one now. I've got about 20 pages to go. I really don't know how I feel about this book. At the moment, am thinking 2 stars. It was 3, but since then I've become more and more bored by it. I feel like there's just no progression of the plot. I thought that it was going to be a really interesting book. I feel like the story is very good and has a lot of potential and the themes in the book have so much potential, but I feel like it's just not really going anywhere. I feel like it's not well developed. It's not very well thought through. So I'm not really vibing with this book. I just want more from it. It had so much potential and I feel like it's just not living up to it. So at the moment it's a 2 star and the next 20 pages may bump it up to a 3, but I highly doubt it. Almost 3 a.m. so I'm trying to be really quiet because there are 2 people sleeping upstairs and I don't want to be responsible for waking them up. But oh my golly gosh, I am on chapter 29, page 281. Stop. Screaming, crying, throwing up has intensified to the max. I love Rysand. I can't. I'm so excited that Nesta and Elaine are brought back into the story because I really want there to be more about the sisters. I am loving the plot of this book. I am loving the new war that's about to unfold. I'm loving like the new threat on Perinthian and the mortal world. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I can't stop squealing, like kicking my feet squealing while I'm reading this book. It doesn't look like I'm going to get any sleep anytime soon, so I'm just going to continue reading and I'll give you an update in maybe a few hours. slept. It's now around 11 a.m. I have been reading for about 7 hours straight. Again, I'm a very, very slow reader, so it's taken me quite a while, but I am now on page 543. Oh my god. I'll put a timestamp here. Please skip if you don't want to hear any spoilers. How did it take almost the entire book for Rysand and Fairy to get together? The amount of times I've squealed and like blushed, and I've gone completely red reading this book. I'm so happy. I am so happy that they're together. So happy. I did not expect like everything that Rysand talks about from like the moment he first started seeing like snippets of her when she was a human living in the mortal lands, but I didn't expect that part. I did kind of gather that they were going to be mates, but oh my god, I am speechless. So much drama. I am almost done. I've got about 80 pages left. You can kind of see where I am. So I'm gonna read that now, and I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself when this book is over because I don't have money to get the next one. So I have asked my mum if I can borrow £5 to order it. I need to read the next one. Yeah, I'll update you when I've finished. Spoilers again, a timestamp will be put here so you can go to that if you don't want to see any spoilers. Oh my god. I feel like I'm saying oh my god a lot. My brain has gone blank. Valeris has just been attacked. Oh my god. What is this book doing to me? People were right when they said this book is definitely better than the first. 100%. The emotional roller coaster I have gone on, I don't think I'm ever going to recover. I have about like 40 pages left. They've just made a plan to go and attack the King's Land or castle and break the cauldron somehow. Well, I know how, but I know the plan. Oh my god. I can't cope. I really can't cope. I have ordered the next book. So, and it's coming tonight. So yeah, oh gosh. I finished it. I have never felt this way about a book in my life. Not even the Priory of the Orange Tree had me in speechless. I don't know where to start. My Sainsbury's shop has just arrived, so I will be back in a bit. Okay, so I am back. I've got myself a cup of coffee because my heart rate has gone really high and give me a second to calm down. I've turned the fan on because I'm very, very warm right now. A book has not had a grip on me like this, I think, ever. This was so much better than the first book. I can't even put into words how much better this was than the first book. As usual, I will put a timestamp. If you want to skip spoilers, please skip to that timestamp and you will avoid all spoilers. When Fairy was giving herself up to Tamlin and Rysand was begging her not to, I was crying. I won't lie. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to pretend like it didn't happen because it did happen and I have no shame. I was crying. And I knew that everyone on of Fairy's friends and Rysand, I knew they all understood that she was doing this to try and save her sisters and save the ones she loves, and she was sacrificing herself. I knew that they all knew that, but it was still so heartbreaking. I need to calm down, as Taylor Swift would say. So book 3 is on its way, It will arrive tonight, which I will start tonight. I'm very, very excited to get into book 3. I cannot wait. I did not think I was going to love this series as much as I do. I think something that I love is that it's not as complicated. So my first book into fantasy was Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, which obviously is very middle grade young adult. That was very easy to read, but I felt like it didn't challenge me and it didn't cover all these themes that I wanted it to. Then the second fantasy book I read was Priory of the Orange Tree, and I love Priory of the Orange Tree. It is joint first with my favourite book of all time, which is joint with Jane Eyre. I love Priory of the Orange Tree. I would lay down my life for Priory of the Orange Tree and Samantha Shannon. What a goddess. However, it is very complex and complicated, and I feel like a lot of big words are used, and it's very, very big on the world building. It's very intricate world building, and I just sometimes got a bit confused. I didn't understand what I was reading for the first like 300 pages, and then it just all clicked. I didn't get that with these books. These were a lot easier to understand. These were a lot easier to follow. These were a lot easier to wrap my head around. That doesn't mean they're better. It just means that they were easier for me to follow and understand. I am dyslexic, so I find that sometimes when it's really intricate and complex language in a book, I find it really difficult to wrap my head around it and understand it. Just because I find if I can't read the sentence and understand the sentence well, then I really struggle to understand the book and really get into the story, which is probably why it took me so long to get into Priory of the Orange Tree. Once I got into it, I adored it, but it took me quite a while, whereas these had me gripped from like the first page. I love this universe, love this world, I love the characters, and I'm so excited to read the third book. I don't know what to do with my life now until the next book arrives. I've got nothing to do. I could read another book, I suppose. I'm reading like 4. But how am I meant to recover after that ending? How is anyone meant to recover after that ending? Am I being overdramatic? I feel like I'm being overdramatic. Do other people think this highly of this series? I feel like I'm being really overdramatic. Anyway, I'm going to end it there, and I will see you with a reading update later. Chapter 17 and page 172 of A Court of Wings and Ruin. It's a lot slower paced than I found the other 2 books, the first 2, but I'm really enjoying it. I love that we're getting like more of the political side of things and the war, and I'm really excited to see how it plays out. Please skip to this timestamp if you do not want any spoilers of this book. I am so happy that Fairy and Rysand are together again and that she's back in Valeris. The first few chapters with Tamlin was so painful to read because he really bothers me. I hate him with every fibre of my being, which is so funny because I actually liked him in the first book, which most of us did, let's be honest. I just don't like him. So I'm very glad that the chapters of her being stuck in the spring court weren't like half the book, because part of me was expecting that, and I don't think I could have coped reading all that for like half the book for like, what, 350 pages? So I'm really glad that she's back with all her friends and Rysand. I love that Lucien has gone with her. I actually really like Lucien. I feel like he's a bit of like a morally grey character. I don't feel like he's good or bad, but I feel like in his heart he's good, but he has carried out bad things because he thought they were right and because he was following Tamlin's lead. But I really like Lucian. I think he is actually a really great character, and so I'm really glad that he went with Fairy. I'm loving the addition of the sisters. I haven't really read much about the sisters yet. They haven't been properly really introduced as Fae, but I really am enjoying their addition to the story, and I can't wait to see where it takes me. I'm now on page 256. It's currently almost 1 a.m. When I tell you this series has taken over my life, I mean it. I am forgetting to eat because I'm so engrossed in the book. I am struggling to sleep because all I can think about are the characters and their lives and what's going to happen next. These books have taken over my life. I'm not feeling the same excitement and passion that I felt for A Court of Mist and Fury, but I think that's only because we haven't really reached any action yet. We're still in like the planning phase for what is gonna like happen in the war. I feel like once there's a bit more action, I will feel that overwhelming excitement and passion that I felt with A Court of Mist and Fury. I love Fairy and Rysand. All I want is for them to be happy. I want them to be so happy. They deserve happiness. I actually really don't understand how I'm going to recover after I've finished this book and the next two. People on TikTok are saying it's an unfinished series, so I'm imagining that there is going to be another book after the last one. How do I just move on to other books when this exists? I don't know. I'm now on page 426 and I'm on chapter 45. I'm finding it much slower than the first two books, but it's amazing. I'm loving the book. I'm just at the part where all the High Lords have met for a meeting, and oh, I love it. I'm just gonna read this for the rest of the day, I think. I've got like that much left, and then the next book is arriving in the mail. So then I can start that one straight away. I am loving that there's a lot more like action in this book with the war. I feel like A Court of Mist and Fury was a lot heavier on the romance, which I loved. Like, don't get me wrong, I absolutely loved all of the romance in that book. It had me squealing and giggling and I loved it. I also really love that this one is a lot heavier on the war aspect and action packed. Like I said, I feel like the pace is quite a bit slower, so I am finding that I'm reading it slower, but it is a big book and I'm a slow reader, so I'm still actually reading it very fast for me, considering how slow I am of a reader. I'm gonna read some more of this, and hopefully my next update will be to tell you what I thought once I finished. I am still reading A Court of Wings and Ruin. The surreal, I don't know how you pronounce it, surreal, has just died. And Fairy has held his hand whilst he's died. I am heartbroken. I did not think I would feel this sad about him dying. That's so sad. I'm really sad about that. I almost cried. I didn't cry, but I almost cried. I hate Ananthe. I don't know how you say her name. I really hope that she has died in the Weaver's cottage because I do not like her. And I would very much like it if she died. She's just a horrible person. And I don't want her to be around. So I hope she's dead. I have about 150 pages left. Also, hate Tamlin. He's such a wet flannel. Wet towel. Wet flannel. What is the term? Wet wipe. He's just nothing, isn't he? But he's so full of himself. He thinks so highly of himself and he's so arrogant, and he needs to be taken down a peg or two. I can't believe I ever liked Tamlin. Oh, he grinds my gears. I'm gonna read some more. Also, book 4 and 5 arrived. I can go straight into reading these two once I finish this one, which I'm really excited about. I don't have to wait for the books to arrive because they've arrived. I will see you in a bit when I have an update. It's almost 2 a.m, so I'm being a bit quiet, which is really hard to do right now because I'm freaking out. I have finished reading A Court of Wings and Ruin. I don't know what to say. I feel like I'm speechless. I can't believe what I've just read. That was so stressful. Oh my god. Wow. Last 200 pages. I could not put it down. I could not contain myself. I freaked out. I don't know what to say. This was so good. So good. I really just have no words. This was fantastic. I can't get enough of it. I can't get enough of this story and this world. I'm so excited to read the last two. I don't know how I'm ever gonna recover from this. This story is so consuming. Yeah, I'm loving it. I have now started A Court of Frost and Starlight. I'm on page 65. I'm not enjoying it as much as the others, which is the consensus of most people. Writing doesn't feel like her. It feels very different. The vibe is very different, and I'm just not enjoying it as much. Like, it's still nice to read about them and find out more about them and things like that, but it's It's just a different vibe, isn't it? I will probably finish this one tomorrow, I want to say. But I'm going to try and read as much of it today as I can. Today is the last day of the reading vlog and I don't know what else I'm going to read today. I don't know if I will read anything else because I do want to get this one finished. I will see you in a bit with an update on this one and if I read anything else. I'm also watching some YouTube videos of book stuff. Bookish YouTube videos. I'm currently watching a 24-hour readathon and I really want to do one, but I just don't have any friends to do one with. Maybe I'll do one on my own. I don't know. I am ending the day on page 113 of Court of Frost and Starlight. It's just a bit boring, isn't it? Nothing much is really happening. I know that this is meant to be like a little wholesome break from everything that's happened. I'm just finding it a bit boring. I'm halfway through now and I just want to get through it so I can get on to the next book. That brings my week of reading to a close. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. And if you've read any of the ACOTAR books, let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on them and let's talk about it. I really need people to talk to about it because I don't really know anyone that's read them. So if you've read them, please let me know in the comments and we can chat about it. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you're having a lovely day, evening, morning, whatever time it is that you're watching this, and I will see you soon. Bye.